On the night when the first frost shackled the land of the kingdom, the cry of a newborn was heard in the castle. Leonis, the king's fourth son, born of a secret liaison with a common maid, breathed his first breath, marking the beginning of his thorny journey. His childhood was spent in the shadows, away from the public eye and his brothers, who looked down on him. Raised by his mother in seclusion and secrecy, Leonis grew up withdrawn and shy. Trained to avoid attention, he slipped almost invisibly through the castle corridors, afraid of the words and looks of others. His rare attempts to make contact with others ended in ridicule or rejection. Years later, the king announced a celebration of his longevity, inviting important guests from all over the kingdom and even from neighboring lands. Leonis, as befitted a member of the royal family, had to attend, but as usual, he went unnoticed. At the ball, in the midst of the festivities, something happened that would change Leonis' fate forever. One of the dancers, a girl named Mira, accidentally touched him as she passed by. Instead of the usual reaction apologizing or mocking, she gave him a helping hand, noticing his confusion and fear. This small gesture of kindness was the first step for Leonid to make a certain inner change. Their short conversation at that ball awakened in Leonid a desire to be stronger, not so much out of fear of ridicule, but out of a desire to protect those who, like him, were weak and invisible. He began to secretly study books about magic and the history of his people, trying to find something in himself that would help him become stronger. But every step forward caused a new wave of envy and anger from his family. One of the brothers secretly liked Mira, so he was especially angry. They decided to convince Mira that Leonis was not who he said he was, that he was in fact a scoundrel and a scoundrel. Using their position, they easily convinced the servants and others in the castle to confirm their words. Mira was deeply shocked and disappointed. One day, that older brother, let's call him Demian, invited Mira to one of the rooms in the castle for a conversation. There, he brought up Leonis again, made up a bunch of non-existent stories, and made Mira cry and despise Leonis. She could not believe that he had been lying to her all this time. Then Demian offered the girl alcohol, saying it would make her feel better, and they started drinking. Meanwhile, the other two older brothers went to Leonis and, as if to praise him for his good work, charmed such a beautiful girl Mira that they even honored him and said that she asked them to tell him that she would be waiting for Leonis in one of the rooms of the castle. Leonis, unsuspecting, was inflamed with courage and love, thinking that this was what he needed all along. He decided to change, thought about changes in himself, in his appearance, that he would start trying to practice with a sword and become perfect for Mira, and went to her. When he entered the room, there were several rooms as if in one. Because it was a large castle, he noticed clothes scattered on the floor, and after walking a little further, he heard strange sounds from the far room. When he went further and opened the door, he saw a picture. Mira was lying naked on the bed in an embrace with Demian. She was moaning and frantic with pleasure. They were so enthusiastic that they did not even notice Leonis's appearance. At that moment, his world came crashing down. He walked out of the room into the hallway. He stood for a while in complete silence. Then he went to the garden. His older brothers saw him and lightly shouted after him with a mocking tone.
Leonis, are you done? Where's your girlfriend?
Where is your girlfriend?
These words passed Leonis' ears. He passed the garden and went outside the castle walls. Leonis walked for a long time in silence. After a while, he came to the edge of a cliff. He could see sharp rocks below. Tears poured down his cheeks.
Why did I? I hate them all. I hate myself.
He took a step. About a week passed, and no one would have remembered Leonis if it hadn't been for his birthday. It was a tradition in the kingdom to throw a ball in honor of the birthday of everyone in the royal family. Leonis was about to turn 20. The king summoned the chief servant and ordered him to bring Leonis to find out what he wanted. After a while, the servants told the king that Leonis was nowhere to be found, and two brothers reported that they had seen him walking somewhere toward the garden. The king immediately sent a guard to search for him, because it was none other than the prince who had disappeared. The search lasted for several weeks, and eventually, the magicians sent to find him found the trail of the fourth prince on the cliff of the mountain. It was difficult to go down, so they concluded that the prince had committed suicide and returned to the kingdom with this news. This shocked everyone, especially Leonis' mother. She could not bear the grief and died shortly afterwards. This could have been a grief for everyone, but the brothers spread rumors about Leonis. the same ones they told Mira. People began to think that it wasn't so bad that the prince committed suicide, that it was what he needed. A few months later, everyone forgot about this tragedy because a celebration was planned. The wedding of the first Prince Demian.
I'm worthless. I can't even die. That's what I should do. I deserve it. But if I had a chance, I would like to take revenge on all of them before I die.
Leonis heard a strange voice in his head.
I want to hear your wish and what you are willing to give in return.
I want revenge on everyone.
I can fulfill your wish, but what are you willing to give me?
I have nothing. I've lost everything. Even though I never had anything, not even her. Tell me, what do you want from me?
Your soul.
Who needs a soul like that?
I'm a collector. Your soul is saturated with grief and sincerity.
A smile appeared on Leonis' face.
Take everything. I'm tired.
Then I will take not only your soul, but also all your fatigue, your heavy burden, and your fate. Get some rest. One day we will definitely meet again.
That is how Leonis' life ended. For the first time, he felt true freedom and peace.
They say that scars adorn a man. I could. But it would be uninteresting, right? Let's fix this one, and let the eyes look like this. Great. Well, it's time for Gam. Revenge. That's right, revenge.
The air was fresh, the water in the river was cool, and the mountains were really high. When they reached the top, they felt uneasy, but did not attach any importance to it, blaming it on weather changes. He was always lured by the worlds of sword and magic, but unfortunately he got bored quite quickly. There are not many strong magicians, and swordsmen are not as skilled. Perhaps one day he would come across a really interesting world, but for now. In the kingdom, everyone was preparing for the holiday, decorating the streets, preparing goods, and the reinforced guard was keeping order. As he came out of the forest onto the path, he saw a huge field with several huts stretching out in front of him. As he walked closer, an old man called out to him.
Are you looking for someone, young man?
Thank you for the compliment, old man, but no, I'm just enjoying the beauty of the surroundings.
The old man was clearly surprised by the young man's response.
You have a wonderful speech. You must be very educated. Your parents must be very proud of you. You remind me of someone, but I can't remember who.
I guess I look like one of the princes?
Yes, you do. Very much like an ugly prince. But don't think so. You look great, despite those scars. As they say, scars.
They adorn a man. That's right, they say. But what vile prince are we talking about? I lived far away from here for a while.
The fourth prince, that is. He died a few months ago. At first there was such grief in the kingdom, and then there were rumors that he wasn't as good as everyone thought he was. They say that he once even called his own mother A.
Yeah, I got the gist of it. Thanks for the information. By the way, what about his mother? Where can we find her?
Yes, she died when she learned about her son's death. She was buried behind a field.
And how did the king react? After all, she had borne him a prince.
I don't know about that, but the guards came to her house.
That's right. That's how you should treat her, right, Grandpa?
I don't agree with you there, young man. She was a good woman with a hard fate. I hope she is in a better place.
The old man looked up at the sky.
Correct answer.
The old man looked down in surprise, but there was no one in front of him. A stone tombstone, initials and the date of death. A hot tear rolled down his cheek and fell to the ground.
You are free to rest in a new world, and with a new destiny.
A stone tombstone. Everything is covered with beautiful flowers.